What's up, y'all? My name is Josh,
What's up, y'all? It's Bree.
and we are so excited to have you in this new set of conversations that we're
Yes.
calling Triggered. How to stop reacting and start responding. We are so excited to get into this conversation. Are you excited about this?
I am. I think it might take us on a few rants,
Okay.
but I feel like they might be helpful.
Rants are good. I call those streams of consciousness. That's what Kanye used to say.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Kanye.
nonetheless,
Okay,
we're going to
okay.
get into that in a little bit. But before we hop into that, we actually have two series that we've put out before. What are the series titles?
Yeah, hashtag goals. That's one of our titles. And what happens after we said I do.
That's right. So if you want to go and check those out before watching this or after watching this, they are on our YouTube channels and available for you to watch. Now,
Yeah.
it's been a little while since we recorded a set of conversations, and we're super excited about this one. But let's talk about a little bit of life updates. Anything
Yeah.
been happening in your life since we've last recorded?
Went back to school, so that's a new thing.
Back to school, you smart.
I try. Praise the Lord.
Brains.
Yes.
This operation.
Beauty and brains.
I got some beauty.
You do. So that's been happening. You had a devotional come out for
Yeah.
preteens.
Had a devotional come out. Start strong.
We lost my granny last year.
Yep.
So that was sad. So that triggered me a little bit.
Okay. Okay.
I'm trying to think what else. Life has been life.
We were about to go 4 years
Yes.
of marriage.
In April, it will be 4 years.
Ugh. Just so excited.
It's so excited.
Woo, well, that has been a little bit of what we've been up to
Yes.
on the in-between. But now we're going to jump into this conversation called Triggered. When you hear the word triggered, what comes to your mind?
Yeah, honestly, when I think about the word triggered, anything that kind of just makes me feel some type of way, just some negative energy. Just the things that kind of stir up in me. And I'm like, man, I don't feel great about how I'm feeling.
Yeah, when I think of the word triggered, I think of something happening and my reaction or just disposition to it happening is semi out of my control, or something happening and like I just get super quiet and I don't know why I'm getting quiet until afterwards. I was just like, ooh, I think somebody touched something there.
Well, yes. I was going to say for some people, you are naturally quiet to them.
Fair.
But also fair, you can have moments where you be real quiet.
That's what happens. That's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
so when I think of being triggered by something, I think of having a reaction that tends to sometimes be negative, probably leans more towards negative of a reaction when we're kind of trying to define this word triggered. But before we jump in, I want to kind of set us up with this
Set us up.
text from the Bible, and this is going to be from James 1:19, and I think this is kind of guide our conversations that we're going to be having, the next few conversations that we're going to be having here about this. It says this: "Know this, my beloved brothers, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger." When I read that, does anything stand out to you?
Yeah, I think for me, I naturally enjoy to listen to people. But in the process of me listening, sometimes I am just ready for them to kind of be quiet. So I can be, hey, let me tell you how to do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
Or let me give you some sense of encouragement. But even in doing that is the fact that listening is important, but also knowing when to speak.
Yeah.
So that's what I think about.
No, I think that's good. I think it's interesting. I think when I look at it, the first thing it kind of just noticed to me is just the order of what it is, right? Be
say
quick
more.
to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger. So like that's just interesting to me of just the sequence of those things. I'm like into sequencing. But then
You
also I think the other part that's interesting is like be quick to hear and slow to speak has to do with quick and slow just have to deal with, I feel like, reacting a little bit and telling you how to react. And then being slow to anger seems a little bit more intentional. So it seems like this idea of like responding to something. So I think that's why we're going to look at, that's why we call this series Triggered, how to stop reacting and start responding, right? How to start to be slower to anger or slower to the things that are triggering us. And I'm just super excited about that conversation and what we're jumping into all of that. Now,
Yes.
it's going to be a totally different bunch of variety of people that may be listening to this or watching this. How do they know they're in the right place? Who would you say this is for?
Yeah, honestly, I think in our previous series, we've really kind of been focused on, hey, friends that are married, maybe some that are single. But honestly, this is for anyone because I feel like we all have emotions. We all have things that kind of trigger us, whether we know it or not. So this is really for anybody.
Yeah, I would agree with this. I think this is for a broader subset of people, but I think when I think of in mind of what I'm thinking of some people, I am thinking of like young adults a little bit because I think as we get older, we probably get a little bit more refined and start to realize the things that trigger us. And I think this is a helpful conversation for either or. I feel like for everyone, but I often just think of my young adult years and when it was harder for me to just identify. I'm still a young adult. Wait a minute. But when it was harder for me to identify certain triggers. But I agree with that. I think that's super cool. Now, like we always say, I think in these conversations, we are giving insights, not advice.
No.
We know that we are living examples, not perfect examples. So here's what we want to do. We want to kind of just spark that conversation, and we want y'all to join us along with that conversation. Whether you're watching with a significant other, a spouse, or by yourself, we want you, as we're answering these questions, or bringing up these thoughts, we want you to stop and answer those questions for yourselves also.
Yeah. Well, also, too, I'll say friends. I feel like this last year, for good or bad, I think I've been triggered by some friendships and just navigating friendships. So I would include just any friends you might have because that's still a relationship that, can use some words of encouragement.
Cool. All right.
Yes.
Well, as they're about to watch these set of conversations, what encouragement can you give them?
I think as you watch, we are different from y'all watching us, hopefully. But my encouragement would just be to just listen. Don't take everything we say as like stand still, but it's more so a thing of like, hey, as they're talking about this, what triggers me? Like, why do I feel a certain way when someone says this to me? Or like, why do I navigate in that way? And so honestly, this is just a great opportunity to start doing some self-reflection, but also self-reflecting and saying, hey, God, can you show some things that are happening in my life that are kind of triggering me?
I think that's great. I think for me, I would just encourage y'all just to have fun. Use this as permission to have these conversations. Bree knows I like to have I don't like to have hard conversations. I'm willing to have hard conversations. So I think use this as an excuse to start to have some of those harder conversations so that you're not as triggered. That's our hope. We hope by the end of these set of conversations, you will have been able to start to identify some of the things that trigger you and some of the ways that you can start to respond to that in a healthy way, some of the ways that you're responding to that in a negative way. Now, we are so excited for you to watch these set of conversations. My name is Josh.
I'm Bree.
And we can't wait to see you in the next episode.
Bye.